9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
SFL night, let's go. Midnight glow, time to rise. SFL nights on the starry skies. AJ strike to feel her heat. The sultry voice so silky sweet. Whispers in the air, lights down low. Bubbly charm, let the stories flow. In the league where dreams unite. Ashley's got you, hold on tight. Under her lights, SFL players shine bright. AJ's putting you in the spotlight. From the field to the mic, Ashley's in the know. SFL nights, get in the down low. In the game, she's making plays. Arizona's queen bee leading the way. A community ambassador off the field, laying on hands, see it all get healed. From the huddle to the show, Ashley's got that infectious glow. Interviews that make you sway. In her presence, you wanna stay. SFL players shine bright. AJ's here for you with a spotlight. From the field to the mic, Ashley's in the know. SFL nights, get in the down low. SFL night, let's go. Midnight glow, hey, SFL night, let's go. Midnight glow. From the huddle to the show, Ashley's got that infectious glow. Interviews that make you sway. In the presence, you under her lights. SFL players shine bright. AJ's here putting you in the spotlight. From the field to the mic, Ashley's in the know. SFL nights, getting in the down low. SFL players shine bright. AJ's here putting you in the spotlight. From the field to the mic, Ashley's in the know. SFL nights, getting in the down low. Day turns tonight. Let's go. Turn down those lights. It's Ashley's turn to make you feel so right. Under her lights. As the conversation is about to ignite. It's always SFL nights. Under her lights. Let's go.
In the What is up? What is up, SFL Nation? Welcome to SFL Nights with AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. I really, really appreciate it, y'all. And I had to play that. I know I played my theme song, of course, but I actually had to play that second one. I came across it again on YouTube because I just like listening to music all the time, right? And one of my guests requested this song many, many, many years ago when they won a championship. But I never forgot it. And so since he was going to be on tonight, I figured I was just going to go ahead and play it for him, because it was a great, great song. So that was Stick Figure, if you don't know. Man, awesome, awesome track. But welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight, or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. I really appreciate it, y'all. And my show is going to be a little bit different. I'm cutting out a segment because I want to make sure that I make time for my guests and give them, as much time as they would like to have to answer my questions for this evening. Very special show. So it's basically going to be kind of like an interview show. I will be doing a little bit of the game day reviews, like a rapid fire review of week 10, especially since we're already in week 11. I don't want to kind of harp on that too much. We're going to kind of talk about one of those games in a little bit of detail later on anyway. I just want to kind of move things along. So we're in week 11 right now, and games have been played already on Friday, and fantastic games to watch. And I think some of my guests are definitely going to want to talk about what we saw. But let's go ahead and get everything started, because I do know that some of my guests are on the time crunch, so I want to make sure I'm cognizant of that. So week 10. Week 10 was really interesting because first of all, there were, let me see, 5 teams that scored 17 points. Actually, 6 teams that scored 17 points and lost. And I said that this was the curse of 17 for week 10. I've never seen that many teams lose by that specific of a number, so means something, y'all. But anyway, for those that are new to the show and for my radio listeners, I'd like to make sure I go over the games to keep you up to date with the latest games. You can also check this out on simfl.net. Direct links to the games and also more information about the teams themselves and the community. So, week 10, quick rapid fire, I should say. Nashville Tempo wins against the Charleston Predators 24-31. Chicago Warriors took on Fort Worth Toros, where Fort Worth wins 45-17. One of the starting 17s. Vancouver Legion took on Albuquerque, and Albuquerque wins 27-20. Queen City Corsairs loses to the Indianapolis Ramblers 30-17. Lexington Miners were victorious over the DC Dragons, winning 20-17. Again, see, all these 17s. Baltimore Vultures took on Bossier City, where Baltimore wins 34-21. Los Angeles Lycans battles Mexico City Aztecs, where Mexico City wins 30-17. Oh, Denver NightWings took on Arizona Scorpions, where Arizona suffered their first loss of the season, 24-17. Motor City V8s battled Canton Classics, where again, Canton wins 24-17. Carolina Skyhawks took on Atlanta Swarm, where the Swarm goes on to win 20-13. Louisiana Revolution took on Pittsburgh Riverhawks, and Louisiana wins 34-14. Lastly, Minnesota Legends took on Houston Headhunters, where Minnesota came out victorious, 19-6. All good games to watch. For that week, I'm actually 8-4. So I'm adding week 11. Hold on, let me get this up for you guys. And keep in mind, hold on, it's for all my newbies. My original picks were in yellow. The ones I got right are in green, and the ones I got wrong are in fuchsia. So here I have week 11. Now, I haven't marked this yet, but it looks like I'm already 2-1. which brings my total up to 64 right, 28 wrong on the season. But as I alluded to before, Week 11 started yesterday, September 20th, where Carolina Skyhawks battled the Baltimore Vultures in a fantastic game. Carolina wins 45-28. Oh my gosh, and I'm so looking forward to talking to one of Carolina's members on PGI. I got so many questions for them for that game. Kudos, Carolina. Pittsburgh Riverhawks took on Albuquerque Adams, and Albuquerque wins 63-17. Oh my gosh, bro, 63? Y'all put up 6. Oh, okay. Canton Classics battled the Los Angeles Lycans, where LA went down to Canton. Canton wins 24-10. Now, as you can see on Saturday, the 21st, my picks are in. Oh my gosh, I have my picks going right here now. Again, it's let me take this off the screen so I can say this. As a content creator, when we do these picks, it is nothing against the other team if we don't pick. I feel like I have to say that sometimes. It's a 50-50 chance that we're going to be right anyway. It's all about fun and games. So I've been wrong. Obviously, I was wrong 28 times this season, and I'm sure I'm going to be wrong some more. But it's all in fun, man. So, just, roll with it. So tonight, we have some games that are going to be happening, and I hope that all of you tune in to Simulation Football League's YouTube page to check out the Houston Headhunters taking on the Indianapolis Ramblers, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And I am going for Houston on this one, even though it is a home game for Indy. I think Houston is playing upset, so they're going to win this game. Lexington Miners will be taking on the Minnesota Legends at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going for Minnesota to defend the home turf and win this game, probably about 10 points. Louisiana Revolution will be taking on Fort Worth Toros tonight. Fort Worth will be at home at 9 p.m. Eastern in the Stockyards. Going for Fort Worth Toros. They have been very dominant this season. The Denver NightWings will be taking on the DC Dragons. DC will be at home, but I think Denver's win over Arizona gave them the strength and what they need the oomph that they need to get those playbooks together to get this win over DC. No, that was not an easy win. The Atlanta Swarm on Sunday will be taking on Nashville Tempo, and I'm going for Tempo to win this home game. Atlanta's been playing lights out, I know, but Nashville just has something special about their defense, so I'm going with Nashville. Chicago Warriors taking on the Motor City V8s. This was a toss-up for me. I'm giving it to Motor City because it's a home game, and sometimes home field advantage does take it does count, so I'm giving it to them for that. Bossier City Steamers taking on the Charleston Predators. It's also going to be a great game to watch at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Going for Bossier City on this one. I know that I should go for the Predators, right? Same reason, home field advantage, very strong. But I think that Bossier City, this is going to be one of those surprise wins. Like Chad was throwing out surprise wins all last week. I think this one's going to be one for me. Last game on Sunday will be the Mexico City Aztecs taking on the Queen City Corsairs at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and I am going to roll with Mexico City on this one. Stronger, dominant team. Queen City's missing a lot of pieces over there. Hopefully, they'll be able to get things together for next season. But yeah, I don't see them winning this game. Monday night, Arizona Scorpions taking on Florida Storm. Woo! West versus the East. And it's going, of course, we're going for Arizona, guys. Come on. But you cannot take any team for granted. You really should. We don't. But Florida will find a way to win. And are they going to be facing their third win of the season, or are we going to be facing our second? So it's pressure on both squads. Pressure on both coaches right now. I'm sure they're locked up in their cages right now, or in their dungeons, I should say, just trying to figure it all out. And we appreciate all the efforts for that. On to my interview. I'm super excited to bring these guys up because this is my first time hearing from them. I want to say any member from the Denver NightWings for a while, but especially from these guys. First up, I have to make sure I get my notes up. I want to make sure I introduce everybody properly. Put some respect on it. I want nobody to try to find me later. All right, so first up, we're going to have up Mr. Mike Goodman. He is the head coach as well as offensive coordinator for Denver NightWings. How are you?
I'm great, Ashley. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I know you talked about it a little bit. Is that Arizona-Florida game? Really looking
Yeah.
forward to watching that game on Monday night because I think it's going to be a spectacular game. You got two amazing coaches, going head to head, but it's going to be an amazing watch for that game for sure.
Indeed, it will. It's going to be
Tough
as
to watch too, right? Could be tough to watch too. It's going to be very tense,
I know it's
back and
going to be
forth.
tough for us.
Yeah. Yep.
So next up, I'm bringing up Mr. Ooh, if I get this wrong, because we just went over this. Jimmy Hatiz.
Hey guys, what's going on? I want to start by saying Goodman's probably not going to tell you, but he's a huge Ashley Jackson fan. I think he has a life-size poster. He's probably going to want you to sign at the convention next year. But we love you, Ashley. Great show.
Yeah.
We're so happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're fired up. Got all our energy here today. Can't wait to talk to you.
Oh man, that's an honor. It's an honor to have you, even though you kicked our butts. It's an honor to still have you, and and being able to talk to you and actually get to know you guys because no one does. I don't think, so it's interesting. But I think everybody has a good idea of who this last individual and who the song was dedicated to is Mr. Jeremy Money Hands Vega. Yes, I remember. Mr. Money Hands. What's going on?
That's a long and dead old nickname from a long, long time ago, another life. But happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Glad you made time for me, man. I know all of you. I want to say thank you for making time because I know you've been busy getting playbooks together, getting the rest of the season, thoughts on the rest of the season together, as well as balancing your own lives. So I really appreciate your time. All right. So, Jeremy, were you expecting that song first off? Were you expecting that song early?
No, but I'm happy you played it. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's my favorite band, Stick Figure. If you've never listened to them, give them a try. You might like them.
Indeed. Definitely if you're trying to chill and relax, man. Yes. All right, so Denver is currently 3-5. Number 4 in the West. Next opponent will be the DC Dragons. I'm going to get into that in a minute. I want to know how important was this win over the Arizona Scorpions was for this team that happened. Because I don't think anybody really picked you guys to win. And I know that in some cases that could be like that could weigh on your mental because it's like how could you not believe in us and especially when you have a new coaching staff and Jeremy you putting your trust in this new coaching staff to do things that we know that you can do so I want to know how important was this win for your locker room. And I'll start with you first, Michael.
Yeah, I think it was huge for the locker room. Obviously, we came in our first game, we didn't do so well, right? Actually took a whole vacation the next week because we were on a bye. So I took a whole vacation off of work just to do nothing but get into the playbook, right? Because there's a lot of things that you have to look at. Even though our background comes from a coach mode league, which is basically you're calling the plays and you can do some audibles. And then once you hike the ball, the computer plays out the play per se. So there's a lot of things that Jim and I, through history, kind of understand from football. This is a little bit different, right? Is now you're relying on the AI to call the plays, the formations, and the first game was pretty brutal. And then after that game, I got to give a shout out to Charleston head coach J.W. Hart. Me and him talked back and forth for probably a good hour. He sent me over some tools to make us be a little bit more successful in trying to determine what the game's going to be calling, at least formation wise. And then it's all about going through plays and finding plays, right? So not every play in every book's going to work. You got to get rid of the junk plays that you don't want it to run, and it's still work in progress. There's a lot of books, a lot of formations in these team-based books that you have to go through and see the different types of plays that are in these books, and you have to just run them to see if they're worthy to be to try in a game or not. And then I think slowly but surely we've shown some progress in that department. But it meant everything to the locker room. It meant everything to me to be able to have those guys be so hyped up as they were after that in the locker room after that win, and having some trust in us and knowing that we're heading in the right direction.
Indeed. Jimmy, I want to know your thoughts.
One word: vindication. I'll tell you, Ashley, we were so happy in that game, and Mike said it so well. Preparation, hard work is what's important, but more than anything, and I don't want to compare us to like a Tom Brady right out of the gate, but just the story itself. We came in, Mike knew Jeremy. I just met him. If anybody wants to get the feel of what our locker room like, it was like two guys are coming in off the street. You never heard of him, and we're basically telling Jeremy, we're the best decision you ever made, kind of like a Tom Brady. And everybody's probably saying, well, we're going to find out if that's true or not. Mike and I worked so hard. I think I always say it's better to learn from a loss than it is from a win. And that first loss we took really made us reflect and say, hey, this is a very competitive league. We're not just going to walk in here and act like we're, somebody special. We're going to have to get down. We're going to have to grind. It felt so good when we grinded the next week. We got a little bit closer. We grinded the next week. We got a little bit closer. We had our locker room behind us the whole time. That's what I really appreciate, is we had a bunch of players that were in there that gave us nothing but positive energy, telling us they were behind us. They loved what they saw for the future, that they felt like this was going to be some kind of game-changing type of thing that was going to happen to the locker room. Jeremy has been so helpful. Great guy, always looking out for us, trying to help us whenever we need it. And you said it best. When we came into this game, nobody gave us a chance to win that game, and I don't blame them. Listen, let's be honest. We were the 22nd seed, and you guys were the number 1 seed. We had no business talking or acting like we were going to win that game. But Mike and I were probably the only two that believed we were, and Jeremy. And behind the scenes, we had our fingers crossed. That was a great game. The whole time, all we were saying is, hey, just get over the hump. Get over the hump. We can get this one win. And Mike and I talked about it today. I probably would have enjoyed just having a win against a mediocre team to say, hey, we got that out of the way. We got our win. But to beat you guys, such a quality franchise, such an icon in the league that people look up to, it actually felt better later. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm going into all this. It's your team, but that was something that really made us feel special. And Gage just had his show where they probably spent about 20 minutes just talking about us. And it felt so good to put in all those hours and all that work and to see. And that's why I say vindication, that now people are taking notice and actually saying, we think these guys have a chance of being something special. And we appreciate them talking about us. We appreciate you having us on the show so we can get our name out and show people that we want to be around for a long time and have a lot of success. So pure elation after that game. Thank you so much for asking.
Hey, before I bring Jeremy on, because his question is going to be the same, but it's going to be geared a little bit differently. I have had many teams on and many people on after a loss, after we have just played, because as a content creator, as someone that genuinely enjoys people, I understand both sides of the coin. When we were winning 7-0 and I was out there doing my dance and I was just happy, I also understood that there is a balance of humility that you must have as well. So if I'm that happy when I win, then I should be as equal if, or understanding if I lose. So to have the opposing team on after, I understand this is all a game, but I enjoy the person behind the player more so than what actually happened on the field. Yes, did I want to lose? Did we want to lose? Hell no, we didn't. But at the same time, I understand the story behind what was going on with Denver, and I appreciated that story. So congratulations on that.
Just to touch on that, Ashley, before you go on to Jeremy, just to give an example of we are cut from the same cloth as you. Mike and I, Goodman, played in the same league. We were never on the same coaching staff. This is the first time we've ever worked together. But I think you made a great point. As many great games as Mike and I had against each other, before the game we were best friends. After the game we were best friends. But when we walked on that field, we were enemies. And that's the way it should be. A great sports organization, a great league is when the game starts, we're not friends. When the game ends, we go back to the people that we are. So I agree with you 100%.
That's it. At the end of the day, that's all it is. Jeremy, same question to you. How did it affect the locker room? But I also want you to go into what made you decide to go with two people that you barely knew and trust them with something that's so important as your baby, because I know how much this means to you. And for you to have had your hands on these playbooks this whole time and then just say, you know what? I'm going to trust you guys to do it. What goes through your mind?
Well, as far as the win goes, I mean, it's always great to get a win. It was a lot of fun celebrating their first win, because there's nothing, better than that as a coach. You get your first win. It's awesome. If you could do it against probably the best team this current season, then even better. I think it was a very important win for not only the coaches, because it kind of reassures them that the work that they're putting in, it is paying off. Because you can get lucky and you can beat a team 28-3 or something like that, and if it's a top team, everyone will write it off. Wacky sim, we all see them. But if you have a really close game, that means that you did your game plan right, and you kind of made the correct choices, and what you put forth for that week, it really not only paid off, but it was kind of showcased your effort and your ability to scout and to kind of have a grasp on the playbook. So I think that's great for the coaches. They know that. I got a lot of faith in them. As far as our locker room goes, I think it kind of just reminds the players in Denver that, we do have losing seasons, but our roster, it's really good. It's really competitive. We got a lot of great pieces in the right spots. And I think that we can compete with everyone. We just need the correct coaching. And I think that we have that now, and we're going to have that moving forward. And as far as, working with Michael and Jimmy and bringing them on board for coaching, I've worked with Michael Goodman. A lot of people probably don't remember. Michael was the offensive coordinator for us back in season 12, I think it was. He was a tight end for us for a little while. So Michael's been in the league. Michael's been around, 2K simulation.
Right.
Michael kind of has a feel for the way the league works. So Michael isn't just completely, fresh and has no experience. He has that experience. We've worked together. So, and I've, firsthand have seen the way Michael conducts himself and the way he puts passion into game planning, into the sim league. And as far as Jimmy goes, this is the first time we're working with him. He may not have direct experience, but from our conversations about the way he ran his league, it was kind of like a no-brainer to be able to bring them on, because I think the most important thing for successful coaches and successful teams, because teams only go as far as the coaches can take them, is having passionate coaches. If you don't have anyone who's passionate about coaching, then they're not going to put the required effort into this, because it does take a lot. I mean, when I coached back in the day, I think I spent 2 or 3 years working 40 hours a week and then simming. I didn't talk to family and friends. I didn't do anything. I didn't hang out. If I wasn't working, I was simming. I was watching. I was scouting. I had that passion for it. And, just because we moved to a new game, that doesn't change. You still need that dedication and that passion for it. And if I'm being honest, if you've talked to me, I don't really have that same passion as I used to. I don't really, that all left. And when you have a chance to bring 2 people on, 3 people on, who kind of that passion for coaching is like pouring out of them, which is what I saw when we first had our conversation. You know, you just got to jump on that, because I truly do believe that the most passionate coaches are going to be the most successful ones, and that's kind of, you know, what Michael and Jimmy have, you know, displayed so far as our coaches, is just pure passion for not only coaching but just everything in general, football. So far, the Denver NightWings and the SFL. So I consider myself extremely lucky, and I'm very grateful that this kind of we crossed paths at the time that we did. So again, it's a no-brainer to turn it over to them and to watch them do their thing. And I have full faith that we're gonna, maybe not this season, but in the future, we are gonna win a lot of games.
After that performance, yeah. I want to follow up with that though. You said that passionate coaches, you know, are the most, you know, dominant, or they do well. Mm-hmm. So why did you lose your passion for coaching?
I don't know. Maybe it's that it takes too much work, and I'm no spring chicken anymore. Maybe it could just be the fact that I went from 0 to 60 in terms of success. I went from one losing season to championship, 11 in one seasons, another championship. The success I had was so quick. It's, you know, there's coaches who've been coaching for 10 plus seasons now, who haven't even made a championship or haven't won a championship. So that fire is probably still lit underneath them. It's probably still driving them to continue to coach and to have that passion to try to win the championship and be one of the greatest and kind of cement their legacy in this league. And maybe for me, it all happened so quickly that after I was done, I just felt like maybe I have nothing left to prove. And I did come into this season coaching because I didn't really have any alternatives. So I had to step up as an owner. That's kind of the way it goes in this league. You know, if you don't have someone to do these things, then it has to be you who does them. And so I was more than willing to grind it out and to try to, you know, win as many games as we could, and then see what happens for the future after that. But again, like I said, I got really lucky finding, you know, Michael and Jimmy to kind of take over.
Okay, I respect that, because you could have just folded the team.
Oh no,
or
I can't.
You could have just gave up, you know. So I respect that you didn't do that, and you did what you had to do until you could find someone that two people that you trusted to be able to carry that torch for you. So kudos on that. A few more questions for you guys. What qualities do you believe make a successful SFL franchise beyond just winning games, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you got to have an active, engaged locker room, right? So that's a big part of it. Is you're really only as good as the players that you have, and you got to keep them engaged. They're paying for a service, right? So having engagement in the locker room is pretty big for me, and obviously everybody else here as well, is just keeping that engagement going, because it's not only just, I mean, for myself, I look at wins and losses and engagement, because I'm a very competitive person, right? I don't want to go out there, and no different than SFL or the league we're in before, you don't want to lose, right? So you pour all the things to win, but you also want to make your players look good, right? So you want to build those relationships to your players, right? So that you get to really get to know your players, and have this open locker room where people feel they can talk about any topic they want to. So engagement in the locker room, I would put as a high priority for a franchise, because if you're not engaged with your locker room, or you have players that are not engaging in the locker room, it's kind of hard to keep that rhythm moving each and every week.
Okay, agree with that. Jimmy, did you want to add anything to that?
Mike said it pretty well. I guess the only thing I could add is, you know, me being newer to the league, like Jeremy mentioned, I didn't really know. And just like you said, I thought to myself when I spoke to Mike, we need to win right away, or, you know, are people really going to want to play for us? But I learned, my eyes were opened, as Mike said. It's a very family-oriented environment in the Denver NightWings locker room. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I have 5 kids. And I have a lot of fun just every day getting into our locker room. And there are players on our team that are obviously very young that are talking about going out on dates with girls, about, you know, things that they did over the weekend. And it's a lot of fun to get involved in that outside of football. And then the other thing is the trust factor, just like Mike kind of mentioned. I feel like as long as we're honest with the players, they're honest with us, and we can meet their needs, you know, it's like a customer service based type of thing. We try our best to make them happy. And we tell people, look, it's not all about wins and losses. Obviously, we want to win. That's what we're here to do. But at the same time, we want people to be happy if they can, and we want to make their enjoyment as great as possible in the league if we can. So if there are people who didn't want to be around, you know, we've made a lot of friendships, and I've already just in the league meeting people who are basically a coach that's going to coach against me, or somebody that has no business giving me advice, and they've been very open and helpful and great. So that's what I really love about the league. You guys have a great family environment. The league that we came from was the same way. I created a lot of great friendships, and I see now that this is a very good system you guys have with the private locker rooms where people are there to talk to each other, talk about personal stuff, talk about stuff in the league. You guys have great shows that engage people, so you get to know who the people are behind, you know, the numbers or under the helmet. So I agree with Mike, and I think it's great, and that's what builds great teams, is a great locker room.
Awesome. Jimmy, what was your motivation behind owning an SFL team? And what vision do you have for its future?
Man, I've been asked that question a long time. It's been a while since I've been on a show, actually. I think it's been like over a year since I've been on any SFL media.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been an owner so long. It's like I almost sometimes forget like what
Why?
originally like made me want to own a team. Probably just, you know, seeing the way the SFL was. I thought it was gonna, you know, thought it was just something special and wanted to be a part of it. And owning a team is very special. It's very rewarding. You know, win or lose, winning season, losing season, it's still rewarding because a lot happens from the beginning to the end before you turn over to the next season. And each season is special. Something special happens. You meet new people, build new relationships. So that's kind of, I guess, all of that being said, that's kind of what continues to keep me, I guess, around in the SFL and keep this franchise going. Is you never know what's around the corner. As far as the future goes, hard to say. Can't really predict the future, but I do know that you know, we are, the three of us, Michael, Jimmy, and myself, are kind of laying down a new foundation for the future. It's very exciting. They're doing a great job coaching. They're doing things behind the scenes. You know, we're starting to do things a little differently in the locker room. I think a lot of people are more excited, and we're very excited for the future of this team and what's to come. We think we're going to be very competitive. We think, you know, we're going to have a very successful offseason. But as far as that, it's hard to look past that. We're kind of just in the moment, planning a few steps ahead and making sure we're ready to go for not only the rest of this season, but the following season. And whatever happens, happens. But the NightWings will be around no matter what. Can't give up on the NightWings, especially since there's so much history from this team within the league. So, but
Indeed.
the future is bright, and I'm very excited.
Indeed. A little bit of a follow-up question there for you. How do you balance the business side of owning a team with building a competitive, cohesive roster?
Like the business outside of the team?
Right. So like the sponsorships, trying to generate popularity for the team, maybe for the SFL.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think that the SFL's, in my opinion, is kind of, I think we've sidestepped to this point in time where, you know, it's not really beneficial to put your time into trying to grow your team outside of the SFL at this current moment. I've always been a believer that you are going to be as big as the SFL is. And the SFL isn't like booming outside of the SFL. The SFL is doing great, no doubt about it, but they're not booming and like growing exponentially. So I don't think that it's worth any time and effort of me to try to be growing the team in a way that's going to like bring new exposure and brands, not at this current time. So that's not something where my focus is at. My focus is definitely just internally within the SFL, within our franchise, within our locker room, and just trying to make sure that, you know, we're doing everything in our power to win games, to keep our locker room active, our players engaged, so that way, you know, we can keep building on our new building blocks for the future.
It's fair. Everybody can have the type of experience that they choose to have. That's what you pay for. So,
Absolutely.
So, Michael and Jimmy, I want to know, kind of fun questions. Are there any coaches, either in traditional sports or esports, that you look up to or you try to emulate?
Go ahead,
Any
Jim.
coaching?
I got to think of that one.
To be honest, I don't have a single coach that I keep in mind as somebody I want to emulate. I'm more like that type that likes to take a little bit from different people. But I think Mike and I have a lot of similarities, and he'll tell you in that we both, as coaches in the prior league we were in, are the type of coaches that believe in, you know, quote unquote, which we're losing nowadays, that smash mouth football. I like to go out there. I like to have a defense that's real tough to move the ball on. And then on offense, kind of nickel and dime you, and then go for the big moments when we can. So I guess if I were going to script myself after somebody I would like to be as good as in the NFL is Bill Belichick. I mean, you know, it's the obvious choice. There's probably a lot of people, but Bill Belichick, I'm a huge Steeler fan in real life, and I've seen him take down a lot of wins we could have had, Super Bowls we might have went on to win. And I try to mirror his preparation. And I would consider myself, if I, you know, this were modern day football and I were a head coach, I'm kind of like him. Even though I might be friendly with the players, I don't think I would be over friendly like some coaches are. I like to draw that line, kind of like Belichick does, that, you know, you got to be serious when you got to be serious, but they'd see the fun side of me outside, just like people are seeing Belichick now that he's retired, that he does have a fun side. So for me, the quintessential best coach is the coach that studies the opponent, comes in, does what you do best. Don't change what you do. Do what you do best, but find those little niches that you can that will be the little parts of the other team that you can take down and beat them. I don't like reinventing ourselves from week to week. I like to build upon what we've already got. I like to build on the players, you know, push them up. The ones that we have now in the locker room, like I said, luckily they're very receptive to advice. They're very open to asking for suggestions. And I think that's a great locker room. So right now, if I could, you know, be a coach, I'd probably want to be Bill Belichick, but I'm not exactly him. And I can only aspire to be half as good as he is.
All right, then. Not that.
I'd say Tony Dungy. I live in Indianapolis, or just north of Indianapolis, so I'm a huge Colts fan. It's not really a great time to be a Colts fan. They're struggling, but you go back into the, you know, when the Peyton Manning and the Tony Dungy was here, they went to a lot of AFC championship games, and they lost, right, against the Patriots many, many times. But that didn't stop his faith and his belief, right? And then it just means you got to go back. You have to have the faith you can win, the belief you can win, and you got to work, right? And I think that's what Tony Dungy did. And I know Jim talked about it as I like a strong defense, a great running game, and hit you over the top, right? So we come from a league. Doesn't really matter for here the SFL, but Jim and I was always in the playoffs competing for championships, right? That's why we're here, is we want to eventually get to there where we can compete for championships and be among some of the greats here in the league. So really enjoying the time. We've learned a lot just in 4 games. There's still a lot more to learn. We learned something last night on some of the sub packages. So just that constant learning to get prepared for not only this week's game, is the rest of the season as well in the off season, right? So one thing I learned in other leagues is you can't get too high after a win. You can't get too low after losses. I mean, I know we just beat Arizona, but DC Dragons is, you know, we're going there in 5 days. So you got to move on, right? So I kind of turned the page on that after the first day and started getting into the DC Dragons, who's got a really solid team. They're really, really good and coached well. So really looking forward to playing that game tonight, and we'll see how it turns out.
Right then. Jeremy, when you was coaching, is there anybody you tried to emulate?
Let's be real. He was just out there to dominate people, right? So in that season 12, season 13,
Right. You didn't even think about it.
we went up to that Alaska game in the snow in that championship game. It was a heartbreaker, but you saw what he did the very next season, season 13. He dominated the league.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably at the time, I really looked up to Mark from Atlanta, Mighty from Alaska, Demond from Houston. I really looked up to those guys. So, you know, their work ethic, Andy from Vancouver. So I try to take a little bit of like their work ethic and the way they handle their business and try to put it into coaching at the time. But hopefully, selfishly, egotistically, some people now are using my name in that to answer that question.
Hey, you better go ahead and take it, honey. Take it. I like it. I mean, you
And
guys
it's well
been in the
deserved
league
too.
for a long time though, so of course that experience would definitely, you know, add up. And championships you won, and the playoff, you know, the playoff bursts you've been in. So of course, you know. So I only have 2 more questions, and that's pretty much it for you guys. What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of being a coach or owner for you in the SFL? And
Go ahead first, Jeremy.
Most misunderstood aspect of being a coach or owner in the SFL? Owner, that we make money.
Right.
No, I don't know.
That's a good one though, because some people probably.
It's a very good question. It's definitely something I'd have to maybe think about a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I really don't know. I mean, I think for coaching, I think everybody understands that 1, it takes a lot of dedication. 2, it probably shaves years off the back end of your life, just from the stress and anxiety of some of these games. But I don't know if off the top of my head, there's really anything that I can think of personally that's not understood or misunderstood.
Okay.
Maybe one of you guys can answer that, and then.
Yeah. Well, from I don't know if it's misunderstood, but from a coaching perspective, is to see that result that you're wanting to see out on the field on game day is all the behind the scenes work. I mean, we're not talking 2 hours. We're talking hours and hours of preparation to make sure that you're looking at what they're doing on down and distance, right? Are we blitzing? Are they blitzing from the edges? Are they coming in the center? How is the team that you're watching, how are they dealing with situations? And I have to be honest, is I'm always running my playbook almost up to the SFL limits because I'm always just wanting to triple check everything. I'm kind of crazy like that, but it's just me. It takes a lot of time, right? It takes a lot of time and dedication and passion to be able to not only you have a whole locker room that is going to watch a game on a weekend, and you want to make sure you've done everything you absolutely possibly can to make it the best result that it can be, because you owe it to the players that are in that locker room to make sure that you're doing that for them and for the organization as well. But I don't know if it's misunderstood about time, but maybe not to the extreme, but some people probably thinks it takes, right, to get everything prepared.
Good one too. Good one too. Owners getting paid in time. Jimmy?
I think that well said by both of them. I don't really know the owner aspect, so that was a good question for Jeremy. But as far as a coach, I'll tell you what I find the most misunderstood, or the thing that opened my eyes, is, as Mike said, we come from a league where we did everything. We were coaches, we didn't have any real life people behind the scenes. I equate being an SFL coach and what may be misunderstood is like being a parent. When you only have to worry about yourself, who cares? If something goes wrong, something goes good, only you're happy, only you're sad. But Mike and I watch these games, and we're talking back and forth privately. And it's like having children. You know, I'm worried about, did this guy get a carry? Did this guy get a catch? Did my scheme work out well for this person? Is everybody out there happy? I'm like a proud parent when we win, and I'm like a sad parent when we lose. Like, what could I have done to have helped? You know, it's like a helpless feeling. Your kid's out there, strikes out, and you're like, man, I wish I could have done something to help him. That's what people don't understand until they take on the coaching, is that you are not only tasked with doing this work and getting yourself prepared, but you're also tasked with putting the personalities of 20 some odd people in your locker room in your hands that are depending on you, and they want you to do the best that you can for their player and for their team. So I think that that's the one part that's probably misunderstood. That is it's a great feeling when you win. It stinks when you lose, but the dedication and the passion that we put into it, I think that we're going to make those 20 some odd people very happy at the end. And I can't wait to see that future.
Awesome. Last question for you, gentlemen. So funny. Okay, Denver is currently 3-5. Number 4 in the West. Next opposition would be the DC Dragons, which is number 3 in the North. Without giving too much of your game plan away, obviously, what do you think will be some key components that you will need to focus on in order to obtain that win? And I will start with you first, Jimmy.
Well, we did a lot of preparation, as I'm sure Mike will tell you. The first thing we did was we listen to what other people tell us, and like I said, we watch Gage's show, and we know, you can't just come out each week and be the same team. So we did a lot of tweaking, did a lot of different things to change our game plan. So we're hopefully surprise the Dragons. We did some scouting, we did some asking around from other people in the league, and we also, at the same right, just like I said earlier, we didn't go flipping everything upside down. I don't think it's a good idea when you have a successful week to then turn around and completely try to reinvent yourself. So we're going to reach out to those players this week, ask them to perform like they've been doing the last few weeks. As you've probably seen, Martin, Forge, all these guys have just been playing their hearts out. So if we can have the same kind of performance that we can have on the field that we've been getting out of the last few weeks, I think we're going to give the DC Dragons a tough game. And I'm hoping that we will come out there and really, really show our team that this wasn't just a fluke, that, hey, we won one big game and now, it's back to losing. We want to go out there. We want to continue with the victories. And I'm not a bragger, and I don't want to, but we got 4 games left. I want to win all 4 of those games. So for everybody out there that's listening, that's a Nightwing, we're counting on you. Count on us. Let's stay together, guys. Let's finish out this season. Let's get 4 more wins.
All right, Michael.
DC. So one, they have an incredible roster, right? So you can go in the portal, you can look at their players. They got an incredible roster. Really impressed with their defense. So being able to win the turnover battle is always going to be big for us. So hopefully we don't turn the ball over. And then just allowing our defense to be our defense, right? I think our defense is it's the heart of this team. That's where we have the most contracted players as well. So just offense, stay steady, stay consistent, move, and don't have turnovers, right? Or limit the turnovers, win that turnover battle. And I think we'll be in at least pretty decent shape.
Okay. Jeremy, what's your thoughts on this? I know you're not coaching or nothing, but what do you feel from the outside looking in? It's going to have to happen.
Definitely what Michael talked about as far as turnovers go. I mean, Stephen Monet is a great coach, and that they historically have always had a really tough offense that can put up points. So, if we can win the turnover battle, our defense is going to get some stops. That may just be the key to winning. If we limit the turnovers or we slow down their offense, I think we definitely have a good shot at winning. They're 3-1 at home, I believe. I mean, most people are good at home, but the Dragons are particularly pretty dang good at home. So it's definitely not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a tough game. But, I mean, like I've been saying the whole time, I got all the faith in the world that these guys are going to keep us competitive. We have a great roster with great players. So I think we're going to go in there and at the end of the day, if we don't win, we're definitely going to continue to put people on notice that that our coaching staff's getting better every week, and that we're coming to win.
All right, then. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being a part of the show and for giving us some insight into the Denver locker room and into you guys as coaches and as people. So I, for one, am appreciative of it. And I do want to give you guys the last word. So that can be a shout out, that can be a song if you want to sing, or a poem. I'm going to start off with Mike. Of course, I got to end with Jeremy. I got to end with you. But
Yeah.
Michael?
Shout out again, JW Hart. Really helped fast forward some of our success. Gave us some tools to really dive in and really understand what we need to be looking at, right? From how the game calls formations, in what downs and distance. So that was huge for us. To be able to focus, not focus on all those formations in your book at first, is to get down to what the game's calling. Very, very great tool that he gave me. So I really appreciate that. And shout out to you for having us too, by the way. I think you do a phenomenal job with your shows. Very happy to be here with you, and hopefully it'll be many more in the future.
Please, I just want to let y'all know, y'all don't have to wait for me to ask you. You can just say, yo, can I come hang out? It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. So yeah, come on back whenever you want to. Jimmy.
Thank you also for having us on the show. Super happy to be here. If I had to give my shout outs, I'd like to give them to the people who, when I first came to the league and I really didn't know anything, helped me. One of them was Fullerton. Met him. He reached out to me out of nowhere, didn't know me, spent time on the phone with me, helping me get the game installed, helping me learn a lot of different things. Super nice guy. Zach Boom helped me a lot. Thump reached out, helped me a lot. Mike O'Neill and I spoke over the phone for probably an hour and 20 minutes. So all of those guys out there, I appreciate you. You don't realize how much it means to a new coach to come in. Mike will tell you, in the league we used to play in, we spent countless hours with new guys coming in, talking to them on the phone, walking them through things. If you guys want to keep a retention level in this league, that's so important. Don't leave new people out to dry. No one has here, but you get those new people, you grab them, you talk them up, you teach them, and then you're going to have a strong community like you guys have had. So thank you to all those guys. Thank you, Jeremy, for taking a chance on us. We really appreciate it. And of course, Mike, all my love goes to you. You know that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Jeremy, money hands. What you got?
Yeah, thank you first and foremost for having us on. It's a lot of fun getting to come out, hang out. Anyone in the SFL community who is listening to this, just thank you for your continued support of not only SFL but your individual ball clubs. I hope you guys are all still enjoying the SFL as much as I do. And big shout out to Cam for doing his thing all the time, running this league, making sure it's top notch. And just shout out to the NightWings. It's the best locker room. A lot of great people there. Just couldn't ask for a better environment. And thank you, Jimmy and Michael, for coming today and for coaching this awesome organization.
I love it, man. Please, guys, don't be a stranger. I will see you guys on the field, and hopefully we'll run that back.
Hopefully. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be different, but we'll run.
We don't think so.
But anyway, no. Don't. Trust me. Got something for you next time. And I was actually, before I let you go, I was actually surprised that some of your defensive ends was able to touch me a little bit. I shrugged a couple of them off.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what an amazing player you have, because while you were dodging sacks that we thought we had you, Jimmy and I were going back and forth on text, what's going on with this girl? She's unbelievable. So shout out to you for your player as well, because to shrug off those sacks and throw a dart 10, 15, 20 yards down the field was at the time wasn't very nice to watch, but you did an amazing job. I was like, oh, we can't get her down. What's going on?
You did, though. You did.
Tell Eddie to stop the kick return once in a while.
I'm trying to get Eddie to let me run more. He ain't, you know how he is. Hey, but thank you. Don't be a stranger. Come back whenever y'all want.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime, y'all. And thank you guys for watching. I do have one more interview coming up for you guys with Mr. Fox Highland of the Atlanta Swarm. Actually, fun fact, if Tulsa didn't pick me up, Atlanta was probably going to be where I was going to go. So this would be a very interesting conversation to have with him. I have to pay tribute to our sponsor, Lucy Red Energy Drinks. You've been seeing and going across. They are our sponsor for the Arizona Scorpions. Happy to have them as a part of our team, as part of the Scorpion Nation. So we're going to pay a little bit of homage to them. I'm going to also play one song and just kind of give everything a little breather. And I'll bring Fox Highwind right up.
Are you ready?
3 Lucy Reds, please.
Are you ready?
Lucy Red, the energy is amazing.
All right, Devil is a Lie. Oh my gosh, bro! When I heard that on the radio, I just knew I had to have it on the song. I had to have it on the show, man. Just so if you find it, that is from Tommy Richmond. Great song. Bringing up, good friend of mine. We this gentleman and I have had our back and forths. But overall, good dude. I'm glad that he's back in the league. I'm glad that he has found a home on one of the teams that like I said, as I alluded to before, that if things have been different, I probably would have wanted to be in the tight end for the Atlanta Swarm, because I came in as a wide receiver anyway. So that would have been an interesting switch up. So I wouldn't have been a quarterback. But, I'm here now, and he's here now, Mr. Fox Highwind, general manager, as well as wide receiver for the Atlanta Swarm. What's going on, man?
Hey, Ashley. So let me clear something up for you real quick. Let me respond to something Michael said that's been weighing on my mind. See, I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I know he's an Indianapolis fan, and he said that Indianapolis lost the playoffs to the Patriots numerous times. but actually Indianapolis beat the Patriots more than the Patriots beat them. So I got to set that record straight because Peyton Manning is the best quarterback of all time, even over you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You know, it's funny because I actually had my quarterback based on Peyton Manning and Cam Newton.
That is smart. Okay, and now number 2, you know that the first game I ever saw for the SFL after my brother-in-law had turned me on to it and told me about it was Atlanta and Tulsa in the playoffs with you as quarterback, and Atlanta beat you, and that's how I got pretty much introduced to the SFL. So sorry about that. I think I brought that up before, but just fun fact, you talking about Tulsa and Atlanta, so I had to say something.
Hey, took a lot of L's, man. Took a lot of L's. It's okay though. It's okay. You know,
look what you're at now.
Look
what you're at now. Yeah.
That's it. Well, welcome to the show, Fox. It's been a while since you've been on, and a lot of things have changed. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. A lot of things have changed. You've taken on some responsibility within the league now. You know, you took a little break before. You know, kind of got some things together off the field and things like that. So, it's good seeing you back, and it's good seeing you back with responsibility. So, with that, how does it feel to be the general manager of the Atlanta Swarm? Did you ever feel like the opportunity would present itself?
I never thought the opportunity would present itself. Like I back in the days with non-contract, when I first came in the league in season 14, technically, then I was a non-contract linebacker for Atlanta, and that was the season that Atlanta won the championship, and that's what really ultimately got me to stick around was the atmosphere and the camaraderie in the locker room, and not just the game itself and the feeling of being able to do something, but everything combined. And I've wanted to come back ever since, you know, being put into the SFLM draft, and then coming out from the first season of that in season 15 with London. And, you know, Atlanta's always had Boo and Siege and not room for another, you know, like, you know, wide receiver 1 or 2A or B, you know? So I never thought that I would get a chance to come back because I've always wanted to. But really, they say everything happens for a reason. And even coming off of my suspension from the league for a season, that's when the opportunity presented itself. And if I hadn't, if none of that had happened, then honestly, this wouldn't have. Things could have changed. You change one thing, you change everything. So there's those silver linings in the dark clouds.
Indeed. So, what is the biggest challenge that you faced so far as being GM, and how did you overcome it?
Well, it hasn't been overcome yet. The biggest challenge that I've had so far is when I first got named to be GM, I was going to be assistant GM. I really wanted to be GM, but I had been away from the league for a season, and I know there'd been a lot of rule changes, and I had stepped completely away except to watch Wolves games. And I had to go back and read over like new rules, stuff with the salary cap, get myself reintroduced to that. And I knew I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to hold the team back or anything.
Right.
Siege was basically doing everything after Swole left. He was general manager and coach, both offense and defense. So he had everything. And so I was going to help out as much as I could. And then on signings day, we had two people who we were going to bring onto the team suddenly who said they wanted to join, suddenly just signed with somebody else. And then somebody who was going to return to the team signed with somebody else. And we were at a loss. And I know Siege is very busy. I know that he was taking on everything. So I said, look, just I'll learn as I go. I mean, I had already done assistant GMing with Seattle, And I've been a GM in another sim league, so I said I'll figure it out. I know I can do this. Just let me help out as much as I can. And we were behind the 8 ball, but we made some moves to get almost to 23 players, and then we did have room to bring on Alex Dominguez, otherwise known as Big Sexy.
I know, boy.
And that got some people talking, and but it's the continuation of doing that. It's instead of feeling like there was chaos, bringing people onto the team, especially in the late going after everybody signed as free agents. Like, where are we going to find somebody? And now Discord has this thing. That's why we signed Alex so late, because Discord has this thing now where if you haven't messaged with somebody, then it won't just show up in their DMs. You just won't get a message. It'll say you have a message request, like a message notification. And if you don't know to look for that, you don't know it's there. So a note to everybody out there, if you aren't hearing from teams, if you're like getting depressed about that or something, check that out. Look in your DMs and look if there's a notification that somebody has DM'd you, because that's what happened with Wolf. With Atlanta, like, he didn't even know. And I said, well, who's reached out to you? What do you want to do this year? I'll follow you. And he looked, he said, oh, well, I've got these DMs from these people. And one of them was Atlanta. And I talked to Siege. Siege has always been a really good friend of mine. And working well with him, we worked so well together. When I came in as GM, I said, okay, you concentrate on the coaching aspect. Let me concentrate on the GM aspect, and we'll each take those responsibilities. But we still bounce ideas off of each other. People hit him up. He comes to me about it. I've got ideas for plays. I ask him about it. So he's kind of been elevated for me to being not only like a friend, but like a brother. That I can talk to about anything, and he knows, the same is true for him. I forgot where that question was going. I'm sorry. My ADD just kind of started rambling.
It's okay.
But yeah, we still have challenges. We still have challenges. It's not just keeping what we have going this season going, but elevating it to where I want it to get back to from when we won the championship.
Indeed. I mean, that was a tough blow to lose Joshua Williams.
We lost 14 players from last
14
season.
Players. Yes,
14
that's
players.
Yes. Total.
And when you lose Swole, he was ATL. He was everything. Like, not everything, obviously. There's other contributors, there's Mark, there's Siege, there's other people in the locker room, but you cannot put a tag on how valuable Swole was. And when he left, that people were saying that we were going to go 2-10, that we were going to fold as an organization, and I'm not going to let that happen. Not as long as I have a say so in it.
Good deal. Like that. I'd like to hear that. Actually, I skipped around.
Now, come on, Ashley. You got to be prepared.
Oh, okay. Well, you make sure you answer this one then.
Okay.
How do you foster a sense of unity and culture within your team?
Well, I remember, like I said, when I was back in the locker room season 14, and I remember how active it was. We had Marcus, Mark, Moose, Siege, Shane Short, Dave Axis, Moose. Did I say Moose? I probably did. Mitchell O'Brien, a lot of people talking in that locker room, and when I came back, I think a lot of it was the fallout from, Swole leaving. It was quiet and a bit chaotic. And I want to bring that back, that kind of unity that we had back. That's why we're, I'm constantly in the locker room, just talking. Mark's in there every day telling us hi, good morning, how's everything going? Siege gets in there. Why not Arrowlette's been big talker in there. Grant Hardaway, Moose, Chris Henry, others that have, everything's gradually coming together. And I'm wanting to build that back up to where it was in what I call the heyday, because that's, we won the championship that season. And it's just getting everybody more engaged and finding those people who want to be more engaged to bring on. We just created a rivalry with Nashville. So everybody needs a rival, I think. And people have thrown out stuff like, well, Carolina, well, Florida, and none of those have really felt very organic. But to me, Nashville does now that they're a team. So we're playing them this week in the very first, what we've dubbed the Disharmony and Dixie rivalry matchup. So we're hopefully I don't hear too much Alan Jackson pump through the speakers at the stadium, but I'll make do. I'll make do if that happens. Have Merle Haggard singing the national anthem.
I'm sorry.
There's tractor parking. There's tractor parking out back. I said, Alan Jackson, being pumped through the loudspeakers.
No. What's the name of the rivalry?
Disharmony and Dixie.
All right, man, I like it.
I don't know what laughing at.
I don't know, bro. It tickles me. Disharmony and Dixie. Oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Nashville is like country music capital.
And
Atlanta has a very rich tradition and history of rap, R&B, and hip hop. It's just, but between the two of us, there's disharmony. Oh, there's disharmony. Yeah.
I get it. It just sounds funny to me, but that's good. I like that. I like when teams, you kind of take it upon yourself to kind of create your own healthy rivalries, kind of like the Minnesota Legends and Indianapolis Ramblers did.
I don't think we can get to that level. That's insane. That is special. That from the get-go, that's like layer upon layer upon layer of everybody buying into, we hate each other. So I know it's all good natured and stuff, but if you Ashley, if you ever see me dogging Nashville in Gin Chat, please just remember it's friendly, okay?
Hey, as long as it don't cross my desk, I'm good. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Oh no, that's fine. It's fine. I'm just saying. It's prelude to that.
It's all good, man. So what do you believe? Okay, actually I have like 3 more questions for you and then that's it. So as far as your wide receiver goes.
Yes.
As far as your wide receiver goes and how you create them, what's more important to you? Or what should be the focus, especially for those who may be listening that are trying to create a wide receiver? Is it speed or is it catch?
Catch, 100%.
Wow.
You can be as speedy as you want, and back in the day of 2K8, speed was important. It was very important, but it seems as if it tops out once it gets to a certain point, and not a whole lot of plays that I've seen in the past almost 3 seasons have been like fly routes, like straight down the sideline, like get behind the safety. It just doesn't happen that way. There's more throws over the middle, short dump offs, curl routes. So catching, especially with cornerbacks and safeties and linebackers that are top tier, catch is very important. And I'll give you another one: strength. Strength is very underrated, and your man Eddie Gage turned me on to that a few seasons ago. I asked him a difference between that and something else, and he said, "Man, I value strength, and it actually strength helps you to hold on to the ball during the catch. So hold on to the ball, catch, and strength all kind of go hand in hand, but don't discount strength. Wide receivers have a lot of low strengths in the league, and that's why you see a lot of passes that look like they're caught but get jarred out as the ball gets there. Because it has to do with catch as well. The catch is the most important. You want to get that up. Speed is important, but you don't have to necessarily get that towards the top end. I would say
in this one,
90 to 92 is pretty dang good.
Yeah, expensive too. So
Yep.
What do you believe the future of esports football looks like, and where do you see the SFL in the next 5 years?
Well, that's a good question. Dang, Ashley, you're gonna put me on the spot here.
Hey, you want me to ask questions? Now I'm asking.
Okay, yeah, okay. How many more? You got I hope you got a lot more questions for you. I'm ready. Okay, so as far as esports goes, esports is already esports has been a thing for a long time, and sim leagues are like a niche. But as far as I had known, there was the SFL. I know it was the first controllerless league, and when I came in the league, I may have heard of a couple other like leagues trying to get started. But now you see sim leagues all over the place. So I would say that the SFL just being in existence has helped grow that niche into something that's more common. Yeah, a lot of people are in multiple leagues. A lot of people from this league are in goals or the AACL, which is good, but it also brings in other people that, like that kind of simulation, but like hockey instead of football. Or like college football instead of pro football, or even soccer and basketball leagues and baseball leagues, So I think that as far as the health of sim leagues goes, it's doing really well. As far as the SFL, where it's going to be in the next 5 years, man, that's a long time from now. You're talking 10 seasons. That's as long as I've been here. So
season 34.
How much we've grown in that period of time. I know that the game change has kind of stagnated some things. Some other things need to be worked on. It's always a work in progress. Some issues need to be addressed. But I've always had faith in Cam that he's going to keep doing not only what's best for the league, but also to try to improve things. I know that he, even though he may not say so, I know or you can't really tell, he listens and hears and sees all and knows about, things that people disagree with or things that there may be problems with. And I know he's taking those in consideration. And I think that he's going to, as we grow and develop more in the 2K4 format, then it may not be as soon as people want it to be, but you can't always have everything you want right when you want it. Things take time to grow. And when there's a lot of different areas, sometimes you got to focus on some of those areas before others. So I think in the next 5 years, it'll be healthier than it is now. I think that there should be more outside promotion of the SFL, but that's outside my jurisdiction. That's over my head. I can't do anything like that.
Yeah, everybody has their thoughts on that. It depends on how you perceive the SFL. Do you view it as a business? Do you view it as a hobby? Do you view it as just a place to go and hang out with your friends or an escape? Which most people do for that reason. But I think it depends on the person.
Yes, exactly. To some, it's a business. Obviously, to Cam, it's a business. To others, it's a hobby, and so you have to find that spot, that perfect spot in between, that where the business side of it understands the hobby side of it, and the hobby side understands this is a business to run.
Follow-up question: sim leagues. You mentioned goals and you mentioned some of the other leagues. So why do you feel that people should invest money because those other leagues are free, right? So why do you think that people choose to invest their money into the SFL when you can go right out there and get this, go to another sim league and be in it for free?
I might end up making some people mad with this, so bear with me. I got to choose my words carefully, but I think a lot of it has to do with production and the way that the leagues come across. Now, I've been in goals, and I'm in the AACL right now, and they're fun leagues, but like, not going to name leagues or names or anything like that. But when you're on a stream, watching a stream, and you've got the broadcasters just not very professional, even drinking on stream, and using language and stuff like that. That's not what I look for. It's that production value. It's the time and energy that goes into the league, which, granted, those commissioners, those owners of those leagues put a ton of time and effort into their leagues. But with the SFL, I think that part of it is because it's been around so long and there's been a lot of old school people here. And then, as more come on, they become the old school people. And now people from when I first came on are considered some old school people. Then it just kind of, it just continues to roll on. Newer people coming in the league, I can't speak for them, but I think that the value, the production value, the professionalism is a huge asset of it. It's a big sticking point with why I would pay for a sub over, going to another league.
Okay. What advice would you give any aspiring GM looking to make their mark in the SFL, leading to actually wanting to really go down as one of the best GMs in SFL history?
I would say, well, number one is personal relationship. Make sure you have that kind of relationship with people. You, as the GM, other than I guess anybody in the front office, but I can only speak for my situation. There's basically it's Mark, Siege, and myself. So we're kind of the face of the team. And, you've got to be out there. You've got to be friendly. You've got to make sure you watch your words. And, as Siege said in Streets Are Talking server, it's he took a risk with me. He did, but he also knows me. And so he was willing to take that risk. And I'm hoping that it continues to pay off. I believe in myself that it will, but I also have to, realize, hey, I can't be this person out there that's causing, problems and issues in Gen Chat. I can't be a TJ Harper. I got to be out there and being, not divisive, not polarizing. So that would be my advice, is to do that, to hype up your locker room, get them invested and engaged and feeling like that. Hey, I want to check. Let me actively see what's going on in the locker room to see, what's been said, or, do we have a Wednesday trivia question this week, or, Throwback Thursday, something like that. What are we doing? I'd also say try to find leaders for your locker room, that you would feel proud to say, hey, this guy is a captain. Actively look for those people.
Love it. Last question for you. Atlanta's 5-4.
Yes.
Number 4 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Next opponent, like you said, was Nashville, and they're number 3 in the East. What do you think Atlanta needs to focus on to be able to come out victorious in that matchup?
Nashville has really surprised me this season. I didn't think that they were going to do bad, but I didn't see them doing as well as they had. So hats off to Danny Carmichael and Guy and Jay Balmer and the rest of the team over there. Even though, we want to stomp them tomorrow night. I honestly, like, I think they've got a pretty good defense. We're going to have to focus on getting the running game going for sure. We've had a tough time getting BDG going. We got a young offensive line, but trying to throw some curveballs their way is. I mean, you do that with every team, but I think it's possible that they're vulnerable right now from losing to Charleston last week. So, and they do have kind of a tough road ahead of them the rest of the season. So, maybe just try to capitalize on what I can't really speak too much to that though, because I don't see the coaching side of it. Like when I'm watching the games, I'm not looking for formations they're throwing out there or different kind of schemes they're doing, because I don't have the game, so I don't get to sim and really I don't try to focus on that. Like I said, when I came in the locker room, I was like, okay, I'll be GM side, you focus on this. So I watch the players and how well they're doing, and then follow up with, okay, how do they progress? What kind of person are they in the chats that I can see? You know, how valuable are they? Do they want to learn something? Do they want to come, under the coaching tree or even social media or graphics or something like that? So I'm sorry, I can't really. You have to give me another question now. I know you got more on the top of your head.
No, it was fine. No, that was fine because I asked from the general manager's perspective, so that makes sense that you would be able to answer it because, well, from the players. So your focus is the players, making sure that the wide receivers are following their routes, and if they're not, or making sure they catch the ball. If they're not catching, hey, guess what? You're going to be progressing next week, sir. Catch.
That is, and that is true. Yeah, because I do the progression plans. And I've never been a fan of progression plans. I think each player should make their own way, like how they want to make their player. So when I make them, I'd say every week, hey, you guys are always free to do what you want. This is just my suggestions. Because some people do want to go by that. And you never know when somebody's like, hey, man, what should I progress? I have no idea. Well, let me look at and see what's suggested. So I do one of those every week. As I'm sure others do, but I don't make it any kind of a forced thing. Hey, you better do these 3 things, or otherwise you're in trouble. That's no. Everybody should have the freedom to progress their player the way they want.
Hey, your money, your player. As long
that's
as,
right.
Because that's what we do. Well, first of all, my sister's in the chat. Hey, LaDonna, that is my actual sister. So good to see you, girl. Just like that. But so we always say that yes, you can progress your player however you would like to. Of course, you want to see your player do certain things, but just be mindful of how, if you decide to do your own thing, how that could possibly affect the grand scheme of things of what your coach is trying to do. Because it's one thing, if you played the game before, you know what you're doing, you know how everything works, you know how the algorithm, you kind of have an idea about how the algorithm works and what would work for your player. Cool. You're knowledgeable about it. But if you're coming in and you don't know the game, you never played it before, but yet and still you're trying to tell someone else that has all of this experience how your players should be doing, but you're not progressing the right way to do it. That could be a little frustrating right there. Now, I haven't had that many experiences as being a GM. People pretty much knew what they were doing if they decided to take their own course, or they took our suggestion.
Right. Well, and I will say one more thing about this is, as GM, you also have to now that, okay, it kind of throws a little bit more of a wrinkle into it now that the rule of debt has come up. Of team debt. So I talked to Cam about this to get specifics on the rule so that I know what I'm walking into. When you on the progression page, You see what the team is worth at signing, and then you see how much it's worth now. Okay, so the salary cap next year being $42 million. If you finish the season over $42 million, by everything you've progressed during the season, you're in debt. And there are some teams out there who are in 56, 60-something million that are going to pay, or they're going to be in debt. They won't get team bank. Now, that doesn't bring down the salary cap. Everybody's still going to have a $42 million salary cap. But it means that before you get team money, you have to basically work that debt off.
Yeah.
So I'm being careful, progressing our, giving suggestions that are not going to be too expensive. And then, of course, we can sell stuff off, and they can get 100% of that money back if they sell it off during the season, rather than if things are cut during the off season and they only get 50% of that.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act of that too when it comes to progressions. Is, hey, I'm suggesting this, and hopefully you make smart decisions even if you decide not to go by the suggestions. You're just going to make smart decisions, and because I don't want somebody to just take 50% of that by getting some cut because we have to. I want somebody to get 100% of that money because that's the money that was in their bank to begin with.
Yeah. Delicate balance, But I'm gonna tell you like this: I progress what I can afford. The way my bank account is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm only gonna do what I can afford. So
I hear you.
It depends on what's going on. But Christian Bakachalupi is in the building. What's going on, Christian? Great game for the Carolina Skyhawks yesterday,
Yes.
winning over the Baltimore Vultures. Man, that was
Congratulations,
excellent.
Christian. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Even though he was dogging Atlanta earlier this season, I played with him in Seattle. He's a good guy. I like Christian.
He is. He says, for my radio listeners, amen. Progress the way you want, and coaches don't like it, sign another player. And when I had Cam on the show, the last time we did like a show together, he said that he wanted teams to take more value in their players and making sure that they're happy. And it was in a way kind of giving more power to the players themselves, to be able to make those decisions. And if you want to save your bank, the only thing I do wish that there was a save bank, like a save button, so you're not
you would see, because I'm seeing things, and that's something that as a GM I do look for, but I also see if I see that they have not progressed in like 4 weeks, but I also see they only have like 30,000. I know it's probably because they can't afford anything. But if I look and I see somebody hasn't progressed in 4 weeks, but they've got 400,000, that's a red flag.
Yes, exactly.
Because they can at least progress something, even if it's something you don't need as a player. At your position, if you got 400,000 and you're like, oh man, just to get 3 points of this is going to cost me 600,000. Progress. Something that costs like 20,000, 30,000. Composure is still really low across the league. So, 1,000 there, 500 there, whatever. Something, just try to progress something.
Yeah.
And at least that shows that you're active.
Well, yeah, because otherwise, when you're a GM, look at you. I have to interview you to see why you're missing weeks of progression. Because I don't know if you just forgot. Because if you forgot, then that's one thing. But if you were just saving up because, hey, I wanted to have this, and if I would have sold all my attributes, I still wouldn't have had enough to do it. That would have taken away from some stuff. So I get that. I get the whole thing. But if we can just have a simple save button that would display to show that they actually saved or missed, like we had with the other one, that'd make things so much easier.
Right.
But
I think you're right. That's a good idea.
Definitely. Well, so Fox, before I let you go, anything else you wanted to kind of get off your chest before?
Is this that show? Okay, I didn't see Eddie there in the background. I'll get it off my chest here.
Listen, he lurks.
I'll just say,
you being, coming back into the league and everything and all of that.
I do want to give my complete gratitude to Mark and Siege for believing in me. when I came back, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be picked up by any teams. I mean, I had been signed to Queen City the season before, and then I got suspended, and I knew that they were good with having me and Wolf back, but I told Wolf I'd go wherever he wanted because he had always followed me around, or signed someplace, played a certain way, anything like that, because I'd said, hey, why don't you, this would be a good idea. You could do this, or however you feel. And I said, I'll follow you. I tried to bring him and get him drafted through London and Seattle. And then, we ended up going to Queen City because, it was someplace we were both going to be able to play after Seattle booted both of us. I wanted him to be more engaged. And so I followed him, and I wouldn't have been able to do so if, without Siege and Mark. So I knew I'd have at least one place to go, but I wasn't sure if anybody else was going to want me that also wanted Wolf. So, I do appreciate the locker room, even though they had some, I guess they were kind of wary of me being hired on, as were a lot of people. They listened to what I had to say. They decided to give me a chance, and hopefully they've seen that what I said was true and that I meant every word that I said. Let's see. I don't know. We're good luck to Nashville. I mean, the only way we're going to lose to them this week is if we have to plug both of our ears to stop that horrible banjo music from their stands. Or did you know they've got tractor parking in back? I for the love of John Deere, I mean, I don't.
Hey,
I just want to know if the skull they sell in the concession stands is the long cut or not. That's what I want to know.
Oh, I should have had somebody out from Nashville to be able to defend themselves. They get amped right now. I wish.
Hey, I'll tell you. I live right now about an hour and a half from Nashville, and I'm moving in November back to Chattanooga, and I'll be 2 hours away from Atlanta. So I'll be 2 hours from Atlanta, and at that point, 2.5 by interstate to Nashville. So I'm going to be stuck in between, so I can say whatever I want about both teams. I grew up a Falcons fan, and then when the Titans got a team, then I'm a Titans fan too. So, I live up here, so I see the country style of everything, and I could go a lot harder, but I'm a good boy now, Ashley. I'm a good boy, and it's all a fun rivalry.
I like how you keep prerequisiting that.
It is. It's a fun. It's friendly. It's friendly. I really do have nothing but respect for Nashville, and Guy knows that, and I'm sure Danny and Jay do too. Jay, I talk to Jay every now and then, and talk to Guy, and I'm really proud of what they've been able to do.
It would be interesting to have you and Siege on, and Jay and Danny on to be able to talk about this. That would be awesome.
Gotta have Guy on though, because
gotta have Guy too. Yep, Guy.
It's because Guy, like I mentioned it this last, was it Monday? It was when Mike St. Green and Cam did their show this last week, for this week in the SFL, and I said something in the chat about maybe we should start a rivalry with Nashville. And Guy said something, that'd be cool. Well, he messaged me the next day and was like, hey, I've been thinking about this. And I was like, okay, so you want to move forward with that? So I mentioned it, but it was kind of a throwaway comment. And he's the one who really was like, hey, let's do this. So I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. So we put our heads together and came up with something, and something we both agreed on. And I'm looking forward to having it going many seasons. Some John back and forth and just growing from there.
I love it.
So we got to bring Guy on.
Hey, We can set that up. I'll definitely make it happen. But I do want to invite you on next week. I plan on having my Dynamic Duos podcast. So it'd be great if you and Wolf can come up and it's
I'll ask him
kind
if
of
he don't like to
short.
be on camera. I've tried to get him on your show. I mean, like, come on with me. At least just sit here next to me and we can be on the same camera together. Look, you can sit right here. You can sit right here. And he's
That's
just
it.
like,
And
no.
he can and tell him you can just pay him. Like it could be on you, and then when I'm talking to him, you can just, go on for a little bit.
Hey, where in Arizona? Where around Arizona do you live? Is it the Phoenix area?
I live 45 minutes away from Phoenix.
He's
I'm
gonna
sorry,
be flying
45
out.
minutes away from. So it's actually an hour from Phoenix.
Okay, he's gonna be flying out there in November.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a nervous wreck thinking about it. So he's gonna be flying out there for a few days. So I thought, well, hell, somebody from Arizona is over there in Phoenix. Maybe he can meet up with him and say hi or something. But
Yeah,
he's pretty shy anyway. So
I think Eddie is actually closer to Phoenix than I am, though.
that's what I thought, but I
He
wasn't
is.
sure. I wasn't sure where you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sticks.
Did you even see him at the Cincinnati convention? Not Eddie,
Yeah.
but Wolf. You saw Wolf?
Yes.
He spent a lot of time up in the room. He's nervous and shy and just yeah.
Tell Wolf is just like having a great conversation with a friend, or we just out. I tell you what, I'll make it even better. If it will make him feel more comfortable, we can turn it into like a eating dinner kind of thing. So he can bring a meal. I can bring a meal. And I actually have another couple that's going to be on too. I'm really excited about.
Really?
Maybe they can grab some snacks. We can all just sit and like maybe have a meal together. Maybe that'll kind of make them feel a little bit comfortable.
Maybe it might. I'll talk to him and see what he says. I'm trying. God knows I'm trying, Ashley. But he's 19 and
yeah,
it's like talking to a brick wall.
Bro, I have a 17-year-old, so I understand. Trust.
He's like a bear. He comes out here to eat food and insult me, and then he goes back to hibernation. That's what happens.
Same here. It's like when they hit the teens, everything changes. But
yeah.
But Fox, it's been fun having you on again. Don't be a stranger. Just like I told the guys in Denver, y'all don't have to wait for an invite or anybody that's watching, especially if you're a member of the SFL.
Oh, I'm always willing to come on here and bring your viewership down. I'm always pleasure. It's a pleasure. Hey, let me ask you something real quick before you let me go. Do you remember that time that I came on your show and I had the Fox blindfold?
That smelled like pee? Yes.
The mask that I realized after I took it off, my cat had peed on it.
Of course I remember that. That's iconic.
I'm just making sure because that is iconic. That you need to clip that one of these days. Be like Throwback Thursday when Fox Highwind was on the show and sniffed cat pee.
Hey, you just gotta be more careful where you put that daggone thing down, man.
It was on my coffee table. I didn't know my cat was gonna get up there and I threw that coffee table out.
Apparently that cat always wanted you to be on his mind, and just wanted. Bye.
Well, I got my dog now, so yeah. Anyway, all right.
That's too much. That's 2 miles to feed. That's 2 extra miles. I can't.
No. I don't have that cat anymore. Wolf's got 2 cats.
Come back.
Wolf's got 2 cats, and I've got my little dog sleeping right beside me. So it is a lot of mouths to feed, but they're worth it. They worth it, Ashley.
I will say that.
Okay.
I'll say that. It is. It's just expensive for me right now. All I see is dollar signs when I think of pets.
It is expensive. Those cats have to eat special food, so they are very expensive.
See? Yeah. See, you know what? We're going to eat this tuna, and you're going to be all right.
They're chill cats, though. They're chill.
Oh,
they don't have claws. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
so they don't
thing.
claw up everything. Yeah. They shed like crazy, though. It's giving me allergies.
Yeah, well, I'd rather take that shedding over you clawing. I come home and all my stuff is clawed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, I agree. You should see. Yeah, never mind. Let's forget it.
Hey, but if you can get Wolfie on, that'd be great. Otherwise, we'll make time to reconnect again soon. All right, Fox.
I'll talk to Wolf, and I'm always willing to come on the show, Ashley.
Cool beans, man. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Good luck to y'all for the rest of the season.
All right. Good luck to you too, Ashley.
Thanks, love.
Bye.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. For joining us today. Had some really great interviews. Hope that you enjoyed them. If you're just now joining, I'm getting ready to end, but you can feel free to catch the playback. Feel free to add, your comments as the show is progressing. Any questions that you wanted to know about that maybe I missed, I'll be happy to address them next stream. But I'm hoping that you had a good time, just as much as a good time as we had being together, and you watching the show. I cannot wait to bring you another great podcast next week, y'all. But until then, y'all stay safe and treat each other well. For Jeremy, Mike, Jimmy, and for Fox, Striker, we are out. Don't forget to leave your goodbyes in the chat, and I'll be happy to flash them across the screen as we leave. But y'all have a good night. And listen, before I put on this music, make sure y'all check out the games tonight. They're going to start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Simulation Football League's YouTube page. You can also access links to the games from simfl.net. Love this league. And if you check out some of these games, you'll understand why we do too. But y'all have a good one. Let's get pumped up for the night.
Make it a double.
Whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out to play, and I'm tired of it. I don't wanna wonder where she been.
Where she at?
She was here, now she gone again. Now it's me and all my whiskey friends, and I'm tired of it.
Hey.
Tired of it.
Yeah, dark brown skin, caught eye contact while walking in. Perfect timing, get beside me, now we locking in. She like, tell me how you want it, on the rocks again. Little salt around the rim, okay. Feel to the top again. Fell back, now I'm back in it. Deal shots got me sending. Big rapper DJ ain't skinny, playing Richard Mille square business. See me in the club, two-stepping, diamonds round my neck, square dancing. You done made a gangster romantic, fiending for your love, I'm an addict. So addicted, ain't no we can do about it. Country motherfucker, I say what's up, she say howdy. Call you my little cowgirl, how you ride it like a stallion. Don't know why I love it, can't get tired of it. I'm on you bad.
Whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out to play, and I'm tired of it. I don't wanna wonder where she been.
Where she at?
She was here, now she gone again. Now it's me and all my whiskey friends, and I'm tired of it. Put you up and hide you on the shelf, I swear I'm through with you. You so hard to leave it alone, it's always something new with you. Ain't nowhere to get her gone. So I guess I'm gonna tie one on. She's so cold I had to go and pour you over ice. Way you got me locked down, you think whiskey was my wife. You so good I had to take you home and hit it twice. Two of you gon' keep me up all night. Whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out to play, and I'm tired of it. I don't wanna wonder where she been.
Where she at?
She was here, now she gone again. Now it's me and all my whiskey friends, and I'm tired of it.